And joining us now on the fan guest hotline powered by Gruber Law, he is from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Dominique Yates. Dominique, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
What's up? What's up? Yeah, here you were at practice yesterday. So, everything, on the tip of our tongues, like in our minds, is Micah Parsons. Like, what did you see? How did it feel? Like, did he have a cane? Was he like walking around? Is his back all right?
Full body brace.
Exactly. Was that AI we saw yesterday, or was that real? So just let us know what we experienced and what we saw from Micah Parsons yesterday.
That was the really funny thing. Just like all of the media, I was tweeting out videos like Mason Crosby's here. He's dressed out. He's ready for practice. And everyone's like, oh, I guess it's real. Like it really happened.
It's real.
Go to bed and, it was just like a dream. So, yeah, he was out there. He was active. He went through stretch. And obviously the media, we only get a certain portion of open practice.
Just individual stuff.
Basically saw the individual stuff, but he went through every drill with the defensive line, and they were doing some competitions, hitting the sled and trying to touch DeMarcus Covington's hands first as they were, practicing their get off, and everything in that regard. From what I saw, he looked fine. His first step was still really good. He was aggressive, hitting the sled. He was just, again, very active out there. So it was kind of fascinating to see, and you could feel not only is it game week, but just seeing him out on the field, it kind of brings even more energy and buzz with the rest of the players. So, you can definitely tell Micah's here, and he's making an impact already.
Yeah, Dominique, we talked about this, pressure versus is it kind of freeing for some of these players? And, you got to think for like Jordan Love and like that offense, it has to free them up because now the attention's off of them, right? We saw practice. I think we saw Jordan kind of have that little trip or whatever. They showed a couple clips of him, but it's like it is all about Micah Parsons at the moment. So now this offense, these other guys can just go to work, do their thing. Micah's taken a lot of the attention, and I think they're going to come out here and surprise some teams. Like what did it look like? Does Jordan with his thumb, all of that? Like, is he throwing the ball well? Do you feel like he looks like he's healthy and ready to go for this week one?
Yeah, he looks fine. He seems like he said early on having the brace on his hand, protecting the thumb. It was a little awkward at first, but he's already been taking snaps under center. He's been in shotgun. He's been going through all the drills per normal. So they've been able to kind of ramp up his practice. They started a little bit slower with 7-on-7 with the joint practices with the Seahawks, just trying to get him just a feel of throwing to receivers. But over the past, week or so, they've ramped that up. So he seems to be moving well. And Mason, you made a great point. It really does take off a lot of pressure because big picture, I think that this team will go as far as Jordan Love takes them.
For sure.
But it's not all on him anymore because of Micah Parsons. So if the defense is rolling and playing dominant, we saw it last year with the Eagles. It wasn't all on Jalen Hurts. And for the Packers, it gives them the opportunity to do what they're really strong at, is run the ball with Josh Jacobs. They beefed up the offensive line, moving Elton Jenkins at center, adding in Aaron Banks. So they really designed that O-line for Josh Jacobs to run the ball. So you can go to a ground and pound physical style game and really manage the clock and manage the game you want to. And you feel good about that because you have one of the best defensive players in the league right there rushing the passer, disrupting things. And he has great teammates around him. So obviously they still have to step up and perform. But as far as that added huge pressure, it definitely takes some of that off.
Nice. We got Dominique Yates from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel joining the Mason Crosby show. I want to, let's talk about the receivers a little bit. Jaden Reed coming out of the boot. He has the Jones fracture in his foot. How did he look moving around? What's the expectation there in Green Bay for him to be a full-time participant in this upcoming game, or is he going to be limited a little bit as well? What's your feel there?
It'll be interesting to see, and I'll get a better sense of that Wednesday and Thursday when they get into some practice. But, you can see that there is a slight limp. That's a painful injury, so I'm sure he's feeling pain every step he takes, every route he moves. So that's something that I'm curious to see how much they will use him. So that's going to be fascinating. But honestly, with the receivers going into week one, I feel the coaches should feel good about what Matthew Golden has done up to this point to say, okay, he's a starter. Let's see what he can do. Also, Romeo Dobbs and some of the guys around him. So I don't know how much they'll use Jaden Reed out there, especially in punt return. I wonder if he will be the punt returner. I don't think he should be. That's just my opinion.
Definitely shouldn't be, yeah.
So
don't risk that early here, at least.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to see how they'll manage him in the game. But again, you might not have to put as much pressure on him to be out there and play a full-fledged game.
For sure. I mean, I can see this team going with a lot of 2 tight end sets. I mean, LaFleur showed he likes that, and with how they run the ball. So, I said it earlier on the show. I mean, you got to get Tucker Kraft and Musgraves involved also in the passing game. I think if those tight ends can be effective weapons for this team, like we talk about pressure and all that all the time in the football space, but if those two can get into that passing game, you can do play action, have a lot of where they're showing block and then they're going in the flats, or the backside guys releasing down the field, and we can get those guys the ball. It's going to free up stuff for the offense. Like, do you feel like Musgraves is taking a step? Obviously, we know what Kraft has been able to do, but Musgraves is a deep threat. He is a receiving tight end. Do you feel like he is going to take a step and kind of be a guy that this Packers offense can depend on, to get the ball in his hands and make explosive plays for this offense?
I think as long as Musgraves stays healthy, he adds a whole new dynamic to this offense because of his ability to stretch the field, get down a seam, and he put so much pressure on a defense, and he made some spectacular catches in camp. There was one in particular. It was a kind of a freestyle play, if you will, where Jordan Love had to roll out. He threw a rocket, and it was coming near the sideline, and Musgrave just threw his hands out and caught it. Allegedly, I ducked and got out of the way. I don't know who said that. Allegedly. I didn't see video of that, but
yeah, hopefully there's no film, because that pops up in the team meetings pretty quick.
Yes, it takes away all talk about me. Yeah, I was an athlete growing up. It just went out the window. But his hands have been very consistent. So I just think that if he can stay on the field and stay healthy, I do want to see some of his blocking, see if he's improved in that, because that's another big way that they feel comfortable keeping you on the field. You have to be able to block as well. But as long as he stays healthy, man, that's just so much more of that 12 personnel that the Packers can be really good at. That could change the game with him.
For sure. We got Dominique Yates on the Mason Crosby Show. He's with the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. You can catch him at Real D Yates on Twitter or X, whatever you like to call it. Let's go. Let's talk about this. It is game week 1, which is crazy.
Yes, it is.
Right? We got 2 days until real NFL football is coming. But the Packers are playing the Lions this weekend, and let's talk a little bit about this Lions team. Obviously, what expectations are with them. How this Packers team looks to match up, because they do have 2 new coordinators. Obviously, those guys have been in the building. Everybody's always, okay, you change coordinators, you expect everything to look, extremely different. But they are going to have Aiden Hutchinson back. They're going to have, they still have weapons on offense. So, how do you think this Packers team matches up personnel-wise to this Lions team, from past history from last year? But, what do you think we can expect in this game on Sunday?
I think they match up well. And I mean, they did last year. It's not like any of the games last season. They were blowouts. They were down there to the end. I mean, they were with every top tier team last year. The Packers were right there with the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Lions in every single game. So they match up well. And obviously adding Micah Parsons just changes that level, because now it's like, okay, you guys had a strong pass rush. Now we can match that as well. So as far as these Packers, the key for them, they just have to make sure they can stop the run. Losing Kenny Clark, that's going to be the big blow for them. So They feel good about pass rush. They feel good about the back end. Their linebackers are talented. Edrin Cooper, he has a chance to be a star. But if they can prove that they can slow down Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and just make it difficult for Jared Goff, they definitely can win this game. So the run game is going to be where
buffering.
Wyatt, Carl Brooks, Warren Brinson, Nazir Stackhouse as the two rookies. What can they do? So Colby Wooden as well. So that's going to be the key. If they can stop that run, they can win this game.
Yeah, for sure. I see this Lions team just going straight at that interior defensive line, or early, just to test. All right, where do we stand at? Where is this defensive front? Can they stop us in that run game? And I talked about this. Like, football is hard, but it shouldn't be complicated, right? It's like you stop the run, you get good pass rush, you run the ball well. Like, these are easy recipes for success. Lions are probably going to come out running the ball, trying to quick game us so that you can't let that pass rush even get started. You don't want Micah Parsons to disrupt the game. So it is this defense's job to get them in third and long situations, get them in passing down situations, which I think at times that was probably maybe a spot that they didn't do a great job at last year. I mean, they lost to the Lions, right, on a 4th and short where they got them in a situation where they were able to just get that first down. So you got to keep them out of those situations, keep them out of those 3rd and 4th and shorts, just keep them pushed back. I do want to ask about like Nate Hobbs. Obviously, he's been hurt all off season. Was he out at practice yesterday? What's expectation for him for week 1 here against the Lions?
He was out there yesterday. He wasn't doing a lot of workouts. He was more on the side, doing some, rehab and things of that nature. But, he was dressed out, and he's kind of slowly but surely moving around. He's not avoiding media. He's answering questions. He's out there. So I'm not sure how much, he will play. Again, it kind of goes back to Wednesday and Thursday. Those are those crucial days for these players to get a feel for, where they stand into game day.
Sure.
So when you throw him into the mix, it's just another physical player. And then you throw him in the secondary. Again, it adds to what this defense can be. They can be creative. They can be physical. They can do so many different things. So Hobbs, over the next couple of days, these are going to be some crucial, times for him and crucial days to see how he's feeling and to see if he'll be able to go week 1.
Yeah, Dominique Yates joining the Mason Crosby show. Do you think like Micah Parsons has to be on a snap count, right? In this first game, especially with the Sunday to Thursday coming up, right? Like they're probably you're going to have to be intentional and be smart with some of these guys early in the season. I could see Nate Hobbs even having like limited reps, just in these games just to try to preserve them for the season. If that's the case, if Nate Hobbs doesn't play the whole game or is a little limited, Micah's not playing the whole game, like who are those guys that are, filling in those spots? Like who's that third guy for, Nate Hobbs? Is that Valentine? Is Bo Melton going to get a look? Is he going to play some on Sunday and Thursday? So yeah, just kind of fill us in on like the depth at those positions if those two guys are limited.
I think that's the good thing and a good question. Even though, like I said, you don't have Nate Hobbs, you should feel good about your starters on the outside. Keyshawn Nixon and Carrington Valentine, they played a lot of ball together. And I guess even not having Jair Alexander last year, it's like a blessing in disguise because it allowed those two guys to get a lot of playing time.
Sure.
So they had really solid camps and they performed well. They've had takeovers. They were battling. It was fun to watch Keyshawn Nixon and Matthew Golden go through one-on-ones in camp, and Romeo Dobbs and Carrington Valentine. Like those guys went to war each and every day when they did one-on-one competition. So you should feel good about your starters. And, Bo Melton, it's fascinating with him because I asked Brian Gutekunst, did it surprise you at all about what he did at corner? And he said the one thing that probably surprised me is that there wasn't a moment where he just looked lost, where he looked like a fish out of water. He wasn't out of his assignment. So I think he's a guy, he's just a smart football player who plays hard, who just understands the game. So I could see him out there getting a few snaps and getting a few reps out there. But as far as your starters, you should feel good with that, plus Javon Bullard in the nickel slot. So your starters, you can say in that secondary is intact, obviously, with Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams on the back end as well.
For sure.
Dominique Yates joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. You have up on your Twitter page, and a lot was made about it, the question to Matt LaFleur last week. Hey, do you know who's starting at left tackle? And he basically told us that he knew who was starting at left tackle, but he wasn't telling any of us who was starting at left tackle. Well, I don't know if Rashid was supposed to share that information or not, but what information did we get about left tackle yesterday, Dominique?
Rasheed Walker said he'll be the starting left tackle for week 1. And it was fascinating because, like I said, the question was asked. He just said, yes. And then,
Yes.
Any more questions, please? So I thought that was great. And, I mean, that was a really fun competition to watch. And, again, this isn't, we don't know if it's set in stone. That was just what Rasheed Walker told us. But other than that, this was a great competition at left tackle. And Jordan Morgan made Rasheed Walker earn the starting job if he in fact got it, because over a few weeks ago they weren't really sure with Jordan Morgan. He played some guard, he played some tackle, and then when Rasheed Walker is hurt, you saw Jordan Morgan play a lot of snaps at left tackle, and he played really well. He was solid in preseason, he was good in camp and in the competitions, and obviously Walker, he came back and he did enough to earn the starting job according to him. So that was a fun competition to watch, but who knows if you see them rotate.
I got a conspiracy theory.
Mason, there it is.
Yeah. We wouldn't do the show if I didn't have some crazy left field theory, right? Did Rasheed Walker win the job because he played in college with Micah Parsons, and they want Micah to feel comfortable and happy, and his buddies to be happy, and that just goes to camaraderie no.
The answer is no.
The answer is no. That is not how.
But we can throw it out there.
That is not how pro football works. You're an idiot. Shut up.
I'm about to say it was either that or the 30+ starts he already had.
Jordan Morgan, we're going to see a lot of Jordan Morgan, but I think it's smart. Yeah, start Rasheed Walker. Mm-hmm. Jordan Morgan's going to start at some point this year. I mean, it's just inevitable. You're going to have somebody banged up. There's going to be a situation where he's going to be on that offensive line. So, yes, I think you have to play Rasheed Walker. Kind of my final thought to you, Dominique, is that, with where this cap is now, you bring in Micah Parsons. You're carrying, all this dead cap with Kenny Clark. They are over the cap at the moment, right? In spending. And we talk about Keyshawn Nixon, you got to make a decision with Quay Walker. This team is going to look different next year unless they find a way to maneuver and, get some space there. So, I mean, we talk about pressure, and I said, there's a lot of freedom now with this for this season, but there's got to be a lot of pressure too for LaFleur and Goody to get the job done this year, because they're going to have a lot of work to keep this team intact and be what they are expected to be this year moving forward. So where do you think that lies? Obviously, with Ed Policy not giving those 2 extensions and all of that, I mean, do you think they're feeling the pressure to go out there and really make an impact, chase a Super Bowl this year? It's we've been talking about 2025 for a while being the year for LaFleur and for this team, with Jordan Love in his 3rd year, all of that. Do you feel like that pressure is there?
Oh, absolutely. And, you mentioned that policy not extending Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. And he said he doesn't like coaches or GMs to go into that lame duck year of their contract. So this is the year to show it. And honestly, there's no excuses anymore. We talked about, maybe they didn't have a pass rush. They didn't really invest in it. They're hoping Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary to perform. But now you throw in Micah Parsons.
Hope's not a strategy. We know that. We know hope's not a strategy.
Exactly. So you filled in, you added in one of the best defensive players to a defense that was top 10 last year. You went out in the first round and you drafted a talented wide receiver. You have Josh Jacobs, who is one of the best running backs in the NFL. You have a good starting goal line. Jordan Love is going into year 3 as a starter at quarterback. And then the receivers, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, even Malik Heath. They played a lot of football now. So
for sure,
this is the year to produce. So, I think they're in that Super Bowl or bust discussion. And this is the year to do it while some of these other teams are figuring things out, like the Lions figuring out, what's it going to look like with coordinators. And the funny thing is with the Packers losing Kenny Clark and adding Micah Parsons, they got younger, but they got more talented. Yeah. And so that's a great position to be in right now. So this year is crucial for them, and they have to make a run for Matt LaFleur, Brian Gutekunst, and even some of these players to feel good about their futures in Green Bay.
For sure. I think bare minimum is you dominate and you win the North. You got to get back on top there. And obviously that creates all the things that you want. You go and you dominate and you win that division. You get to where you want to be. And then, the team that, we're talking about this matchup against the Lions, all that, but like the Minnesota Vikings are the team that's scary to me because they have been under the radar, right? They were like a really good football team last year. Their defense is excellent. They do a lot of, they have one of the best wide receivers in the game. They can run the ball effectively, but there's question marks at the quarterback position, but they have a great coach. They have a great team. So that Minnesota Vikings team is the team that I feel like is normally where the Packers are. Now with this trade, the Packers have just become like that team. And now it's like all these teams are chasing them. So, what do you think? Do you think the Vikings probably are that team that that the Packers are going to have to deal with the most, or do you think it's still the Lions that that this Packers team has to get over that hump and like get back into dominant ways against the Lions?
I think the Lions, it's still the team to beat.
Still the team
in this division, not only because they're the defending champs, but even still, they're battling injuries right now, so they're still going to be a little shorthanded in week one, but they still have those pieces. We talked about Jared Goff. We talked about the running back duo. Now Aiden Hutchinson is back and healthy, and Dan Campbell is still running the show, and he's proven that he is a very good coach in this league. And even last year, I thought with all the injuries, they did a terrific job in getting to the playoffs, winning the division, and more. So I think that's still the team to beat. Obviously, I'll go ahead and say I think the Packers will win the division this year. That'll be my early prediction. But I think that the Lions, they have to take care of business. So, week one is going to be fun and crucial. It's a long season, but you got to take care of those games, win that division, because you won home playoff game, especially in Green Bay. Mason, you know better than me. So I'm sure teams hated coming to Green Bay to play in the cold. So, you got to take advantage of that.
Well, Dominic, that's what I'm just imploring, like fans. Yes, awesome. We have Micah Parsons. You know what helps a pass rusher as well is a loud stadium. Mm-hmm. So bring it on Sunday, like defend Lambeau Field.
Get crazy.
Yeah, don't sell those tickets to Lions fans. Like make it hard on Jared Goff, because the question mark with Jared Goff now is he doesn't have Ben Johnson. Like, was Jared Goff great? Because Ben Johnson put him in positions to be great. So there's going to be, he's going to have to answer some questions as well. And the more you can stress him out with noise and all of those things, that is the Lambeau Field advantage. And we had to do that. So this game is important. I can't wait, though, as we get into the season. That Thanksgiving Day game could be just an epic game as we get deeper into the season. So awesome. Dominique Yates with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You can find him. What else you got going? If you got anything to plug, how can everybody see your stuff? And, before we let you go.
Yeah, you mentioned it's on social media. We have all kinds of content that is on the Journal Sentinel, on PackersNews.com. We have the Green 19 podcast that I do with my coworkers, Ryan Wood. I know you've had him on the show.
Yep, sure.
Tom Silverstein. We do a weekly podcast after games and the week going into the game. So we'll have one coming up on either Wednesday or Thursday. So find me on social media. We podcast every week. We have stories. So the season's here, though. I'm ready for it. This is my second season with the Packers, so I'm ready for it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, appreciate you, Dominic, and we'll have you on again sometime. Thanks for jumping on today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good talking to you guys.
All right.
You as well. Dominique Yates joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. It's like, it's Dominique, but it's everybody, Mason. Like literally everybody we talked to this week, we're just going to get more and more fired up. Like Sunday can't come fast enough.
Slow boil. Let's get this thing cranking. It's almost here. As soon as the game's played on Thursday, it's just going to be like you're just holding your breath, just getting ready for this thing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, personally, how much you rooting on Kenny Clark Thursday night? Like not Cowboys or Eagles or whatever, but like Kenny, who was your teammate for so long. Like how much you cheering on him to play well?
I'm cheering heavy for Kenny. I'm a big Cowboys fan this week. You want them to knock off the Eagles, get them started off on a bad foot and get a bad taste in their mouth. And Do I think it's going to happen?
No.
But I will be rooting for the Cowboys at least 1 week this year, and it will be on Thursday night.
All right, well, we got our weekend wrap-up coming up. We got a lot of college football talk to get to and just go over some of those results, some normal, some expected, some crazy. And, it's.
I mean, I haven't looked at a lot of the other numbers, but, I mean, Wisconsin, they're the only team that, shut anyone out in the Big Ten, right?
I mean, they literally have
they're the best team in the Big Ten. Yeah.
The best defense, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know about the best team, but the best defense, and that's not even debatable. Like, that's literally fact.
Fact.
Right.
Didn't even let anyone score. I mean, they're amazing.
We'll get to college football coming up. Want to remind everybody that football is back. Underdog's the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Play right now. It's easy. Just pick your favorite players if they'll go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Will Jalen Hurts get a tush push? Will he get a rushing touchdown, or will Saquon get all the rushing touchdowns? We don't know Thursday night, but we're all going to find out together. Play along that game. Play along Friday night with me as well, as it's Chiefs and Chargers. It's going to be a blast all weekend long. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code ThunderMKE to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code ThunderMKE. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 or over and present in Wisconsin. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncbgambling.org.